It doesn't take a pandemic to break the economy. Now, everyone is waiting for the next big global crisis to look obvious. Now, a lockdown, a pandemic, a financial crisis on the news. So this is what we are used to, like what happened in the COVID-19. But that's not how the modern economies are built anymore. They don't collapse from one event. Now, because we had that history, so the modern economy is looking for something really strong evidence so the market can really come down. So they collapse from two shocks hitting at the same time, quietly in different places. Right now, two stories are building at once, and that is Hantavirus and also the Iran war. And that's basically going to hit the world in a way that we could ever imagine. Now, a hantavirus outbreak scares people global attention, and a rising Iran conflict creates the geopolitical, threatening energy stability. On their own, no, it's manageable. Together, no, that's where the system starts cracking, when they come together in the same time. Now, let's talk about something really people are ignoring. Even if the hantavirus situation stays limited medically, the economic reaction is already real. So, because after COVID-19, the world didn't just recover, it became mentally fragile. And that's what we are in, that stage where we are traumatized. The world economy can come down at any given moment. Now, one health-related headlines is enough to slow travel decisions, reduce tourism demands, disrupt logistics confidence. Now, increase insurance pricing. And there's the controversial truth. Modern economies don't need a real pandemic to slow down, honestly. They only need the memory of one. And that was just COVID-19, just recently, a few years ago. And we are just coming down on the same path, but this time with another solid hit. That's an energy crisis because of Iran war. And fear is now the part of the economic system that just became. So the economies are sitting on the very fragile edge. Now, the war risk equals the energy shock. Now, the second pressure point, which we are watching, that's Iran conflict. It's not just about the political noise. It's all about the energy corridor risk. And everyone knows that because global oil doesn't flow safely in theory. It flows through some checkpoints, with very hard checkpoints, with some bombs, with some revenge. That kind of checkpoints the oil is flowing in this 2026. And at the Strait of Hormuz, there are also the choke points, which becomes honestly very unstable. And even indirectly, the effect is just immediate. Oil prices just spikes instantly, transport costs rises, inflation spreads globally. What's happening in the United States, of course, the inflation is, they're telling the inflation is staying very moderate and under control, but that's not the reality. That's not the reality, because we are being veiled with those realities. We are just seeing something else because we're not being told how the economy is performing. Because if we are told if the economy is performing bad, of course we would panic. We would just pile up the food storage in home, and we don't want that, right? The government doesn't want you to panic. They are acting like everything is totally fine. So this is very controversial part. Most people think wars affect countries, but energy war affects everyone. Your groceries, your rent, your manufacturing costs, even your job stability, all of it starts with just one thing: energy pricing. And here's where it becomes very uncomfortable. One shock reduces demand, the other increases the cost. So that combination is where the economist fears the most. So because businesses get squeezed from both sides. Customers stop spending due to uncertainty, costs rise due to energy and logistics. And that's not a slowdown, that's a profit squeeze cycle. And when companies stop making predictable profit, they stop hiring, investing, and also expanding. That's super dangerous for the economies. And that's how recession actually begins. Not with a sudden collapse, not with some kind of hesitations, with these three things: no hiring, no investing, no expanding. Remember this. So the controversial truth is stability is just an illusion. And everyone gets this very uncomfortable. We are living in the world that looks stable on the surface, but under the surface, everything is just broken into pieces. As you see, the market opens every day. Jobs still exist, stores are still full, but underneath that, the system is extremely fragile, very sensitive, because it depends on cheap energy, open borders, stable confidence. So remove even one layer, things start tightening instantly. Remove two in the same time, it will just start collapsing. That's why this moment matters the most. Virus in the one hand, on the other side, it's a war which is draining out the world's energy costs. Not because something has fully broken, because multiple weak signals are forming at once. And that's the most scariest part. And everyone, especially a normal 9 to 5 guy who's working the job, he's just ignoring. He's just going to job, coming back home and eating normal and resting. He's not piling nothing. He's not saving. He's not taking action on this. So the real risk nobody talks about right now what's happening. So here's the truth. Most headlines will never say you directly, because if they say, the world will get into panic. It is not one crisis that breaks the world economy, but it is overlapping uncertainty. A healthcare that slows confidence, a geopolitical conflict that disrupts energy, and a financial system already running on tight margins, on a very edge. Individually, none of these are catastrophic, but together they create something harder to stop, harder to control, a slow-moving global pressure wave that is virus and war in the same time. So that might create uncertainty. And the most dangerous part is you don't see it all at once. You just feel it later. If you like the video, you can subscribe to the channel and hit the like video as a favor, so I will create more and more insights like this just for you.